Bedtime is the hardest hour of the day. You are at the end of everything you had. The house is a mess. You have been holding it together since 6 in the morning, and now there is one more thing to get through before you can sit down. Your baby knows all of this, not consciously, not in words. But bedtime is the moment when a baby is most dependent on reading you, because they are about to do the single most vulnerable thing a human being does: let go of consciousness, alone, in the dark. I am not talking about sleep training. I am not going to tell you where your baby should sleep or how they should fall asleep. Those are your decisions, and the research on them is genuinely mixed. I am talking about 7 small things that happen in the final hour, things exhausted, loving parents do every single night, that change what that hour feels like from the inside. Stay with me, because number 3 is the one almost every parent does, and once you know why it matters, you will never do it the same way again. This isn't about guilt. Guilt doesn't change anything. This is about understanding. Let's start. One piece of information first, because everything else rests on it. Falling asleep requires a specific neurological condition. The nervous system has to move out of alertness and into a state where it feels safe enough to stop monitoring the environment. That is not a decision. It cannot be forced. It happens, or it doesn't. And in a baby, that shift is not something they can produce alone. Their capacity to self-regulate is minimal in the first year. What they have instead is you, your calm, your rhythm, your predictability, which means the hour before sleep is not preparation for the main event. It is the main event. Everything that happens in that hour is either helping their nervous system move toward that state, or quietly holding it back. And here is the thing most parents never hear. It is almost never about the cot, or the room, or the blackout blind. It is about what the hour felt like. A different routine every night. Some nights it's bath, book, bed. Some nights it's straight to bed because you're late. Some nights grandma does it. Some nights it's 40 minutes. Some nights it's 10. This is not a failure. This is life with a baby. But here is what the research shows about it. Dr. Jody Mindell, professor of psychology at St. Joseph's University, has spent decades studying children's sleep. In one study, her team surveyed the mothers of over 10,000 children across 14 countries. What they found was a dose-dependent relationship, not a yes or no effect. A dial. The more consistently a bedtime routine was followed, the better the outcomes. Earlier bedtimes, shorter time to fall asleep, fewer night wakings, longer total sleep. Every additional night of consistency produced measurable benefit. The reason is that a predictable sequence tells the baby's nervous system what is coming. Bath means book. Book means dark. Dark means sleep. Once the sequence is learned, the first step begins the process. The body starts winding down before you've reached the cot. Without a sequence, the wind down cannot begin until the very last moment. What to do instead? Pick 3 things. Any 3. Do them in the same order. Not perfectly, not every night, but most nights. The order matters more than what's in it. Compressing the wind down, it's late. You're behind. So the hour becomes 20 minutes, and the 20 minutes are efficient. Fast bath, quick book, lights out, go, and then they won't settle, and it takes an hour anyway. Here is why. An aroused nervous system does not come down on command. It comes down on a curve. Heart rate slows gradually. Breathing deepens gradually. Muscle tone releases gradually. You cannot skip the curve. You can only start it earlier or later. When we compress the wind down, we are not saving time. We are arriving at the cot with a baby whose body is still in the upper half of the curve, and then asking them to fall asleep from there. The rush is what causes the delay. Mindell's research also found something worth knowing. When families introduce a consistent routine, the biggest improvements appear within the first 3 nights. Not weeks. Nights. What to do instead. On the nights you are most rushed, resist the urge to speed up. Slow down instead. Lower your voice. Move slower. Dim the lights earlier. Slower gets you there faster. It is counterintuitive and it is consistently true. Slipping out without saying goodbye. This is the one I mentioned at the start. Your baby has finally settled, their eyes are closing, and you back away from the cot silently, one careful step at a time, and slip through the door before they notice. Every parent has done this. I understand completely why. You have waited 40 minutes for this moment and you are not going to be the one who ruins it. But consider what happens from the baby's position. They were with you, and then they were not. There was no signal, no transition, no moment of I am going now. One state simply became another while they were at their least alert. For a baby who cannot yet hold you in mind when you are gone, this is not a smooth handover. It is a disappearance, and the consequence shows up later, not now. Because a baby who has experienced disappearance learns to fight the very thing that allowed it. They resist the drowsiness. They snap themselves back awake. They stay alert precisely because letting go is when you vanish. The sneaking out is what creates the vigilance. What to do instead, mark the leaving. Quietly, briefly, every time. I'm going now. I'm right outside. I'll come back. They will not understand the words at first. They will understand the pattern. Bringing the day in with you, you walk into the room carrying everything. The argument, the email, the thing you did not get done, the fact that you have 1 hour left before you have to do it all again. You are gentle with them. You say the right things. You do not raise your voice. And they know anyway. Babies co-regulate. That is not a metaphor. Their nervous system uses yours as a reference for what state to be in. Your heart rate, your breathing, your muscle tension, the pace of your voice, the tightness in your hands. They are not reading your intentions. They are reading your body. So a parent who is internally braced, even a completely loving one, is presenting a nervous system that says, stay alert, something is unresolved. I want to be careful here. You are allowed to be stressed. You are going to be stressed. This is not a demand to arrive at bedtime serene. But there is a difference between carrying it in and putting it down at the door. What to do instead? Take 3 slow breaths outside the room. Long exhales. Drop your shoulders. Unclench your jaw. 10 seconds. Then go in. You are not performing calm for them. You are producing the thing they will borrow. The phone in the final minutes, the last feed. The last cuddle. The rocking chair in the dark. And the phone is in your hand, because this is the first still moment you have had all day, and you have earned it. I want to say clearly that you have earned it. This is not the item where I tell you that you are failing. But this specific moment is worth understanding. Dr. Edward Tronick's still-face research showed that infants respond within seconds when a caregiver's face becomes emotionally unavailable. They try to reconnect. They escalate. And when nothing works, they withdraw. More recent work has examined what happens when a parent picks up a phone during interaction. The effect on the baby closely resembles the still face condition. The body is there. The face is not. Now apply that to the final minutes before sleep, when the baby is most in need of the signal that someone is present and paying attention. That is the moment we most often check out. What to do instead? Put the phone in another room before you start the last feed, not on the arm of the chair. Another room. Then take it back the second you close their door, ending on a correction they wouldn't lie down. They threw the muslin out again. They wriggled through the nappy change for the 4th time. And the last thing you said, tired and at the end of yourself, had an edge to it. Please, just lie down. Then you left. Every parent has done this. It is not cruelty. It is depletion. But here is what is worth knowing about last interactions specifically. Emotional experiences that occur right before sleep have a particular weight, because sleep is when the brain consolidates the day. Whatever state a baby carries into that transition is the state that gets processed. And for a baby who has no words for it, the last thing that happened before the dark is the emotional tone the dark now has. Again, one frustrated moment does not do this. The pattern does. What to do instead, whatever happened in the 10 minutes before, take 5 seconds at the very end to reset the tone. A hand on the back, a soft word, any small warm thing. You are not undoing the frustration. You are making sure the frustration is not the last thing. Never letting them see you come back this last one is different from the others. It is not something you do. It is something they rarely get to witness. Think about what a baby actually experiences overnight. They fall asleep with you there. They wake at some point in the dark, alone. Sometimes they settle themselves. Sometimes they call, and you come. But the moments they most need, developmentally, are not the ones where you never left. They are the ones where they see you return. Dr. Edward Tronick's work on what he called rupture and repair established that the disconnection is not the important part. The reconnection is. That is where the deepest learning happens. A baby does not learn security from never being alone. They learn it from discovering, over and over, that alone is temporary, which reframes the entire night. Every time you go in at 2 a.m, exhausted, and they see your face appear over the edge of the cot, something is being built, not spoiling, not habit forming. Evidence that the world is reliable. What to do instead when you go to them in the night? Let them see you before you touch them. Let your face arrive first. That image, the face that came back, is the one their nervous system keeps. We have reached the end of these 7 things. And I want to ask you to notice how you feel right now. If you recognized yourself in any of them. If you thought about the times you slipped out of the room, or checked your phone in the dark, or said something with an edge to it because you had nothing left, please hear this clearly. That feeling is not guilt. It is attunement. It is the same quality that makes you a good parent. And I want to say something else, because bedtime is where parents feel most alone and most like they are failing. You are doing this at the end of the day. Not the beginning, not when you are rested, at the very end when everything has already been taken out of you. Nobody does bedtime well every night. Nobody. The parents who look like they do are simply having a good week. The pediatrician and psychoanalyst Donald Winnicott gave us a phrase that still stands as one of the most important ideas in child development. The good enough parent. Not the parent who is patient at 7 p.m. every single day of their life. The parent who comes back. And if you take one thing from this video, take number 3. Mark the leaving. 4 words at the door. The research suggests that consistency at bedtime produces measurable change within about 3 nights. 3 nights. That is how quickly a nervous system starts to trust a pattern. You are closer than you think. If this gave you something, share it with another parent who might need it tonight. I'll see you in the next one.